This is Space Jesus Billy Starks, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks podcast with Primo, DB, and AJ.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me. What it is. Welcome, episode number 139 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Come on in, everybody. Come in, sit down. Check us out, man. Let's see what's going on in the world of wrestling. It's your boy, DB. It's your boy, Primo. We're all in for you today, man. I'm going to talk a little news and wrestling. I'm going to talk a little Crown Jewel. But first of all, Primo, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm good, man. I'm back. I know I missed last month. It's a rare occasion for me not to be here.
Very rare.
But, I paid a close eye to the pod, and I did hear what all the HB had to say. Yeah. I was listening while those Harris brothers, I should say Harris bitches, had to say. So y'all come on back, today, and you lay your opinions on me, boys. I'm ready to hear them.
That's right. I mean, I guess they didn't want to smoke, man. They didn't show up today. They didn't want to smoke. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So, but I want to thank everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube right now. Thank you guys. We kind of jumped on a little early today to get this thing rolling for you. So I hope you can appreciate that. We want to thank everybody listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, all those podcast platforms out there, including SportsWire Radio. We want to thank everybody listening to us on SportsWire Radio. Go check out sportswireradio.org to check out all the latest in our podcast and other podcasts all across the world of sports. And so go check us out. Thomas Price will be chiming in here later to talk about that. So, like I said, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. Primo, episode number 139, dude. I don't know if we should call this one like big crowns and flashy jewels, or or crowning of the jewel.
I know 139 is pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, Crown Jewel had that big ass ridiculous belt. We could have a big ass ridiculous name for this episode.
Yeah, and it turned out just to be like an eyepiece. None of the wrestlers got it. Nobody got to hold it. They just got little rings. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about it. We'll have time to talk about that. But let's talk about a few things in going on in the world of wrestling. But before we do, man, I want to give a big thank you to my brethren here in a podcast world, Primo here. Earlier in the week, it was Veterans Day. If you didn't know about Primo, yes, he is a veteran. We won't talk about anything else other than that, unless he wants to. But I just wanted to give you a big thank you, brother, and appreciate you for your service and everything you did for the country, man. So thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, to the world of wrestling. If you heard the intro right there, man, Billy Starks, former guest of the podcast, she was recently featured in, well, not an article, I guess, but she was recently in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It just came out. The Women's 250 it just came out, and she was Primo. I think you think this is kind of funny. So Billy Starks, I think she still's the. We had Missa K too, but she was the first female on the podcast, and
yep.
And so she's picking up a lot of steam in Ring of Honor and just doing really good out there. So the Women's 250 came out, and her ranking was mine and your favorite number. What is that?
Don't tell me it's 69.
No, it's 33.
Oh, I was just saying, hold on.
Well, I didn't know that was really your.
I was just about to get highly inappropriate. 33 is correct, though. That's our sports numbers.
That's our sports numbers. Yeah, we have that in common because we both use that number playing coming up in sports. But yeah, man. So she's ranked at number 33. Very well deserved.
250, 33 at 250.
Yeah. So she did really well, man. So so looking forward to seeing her moving on up. So congrats to her, man. You know, number 33 in the world. It's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's a Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranking, but if people that are in it, it's kind of a big deal, and it's kind of a feather in your cap to say that you made it. at least once, or something, as a wrestler, you know what I mean. So that's always going to be kind of cool. So, but whenever we introduced her, she was still in the Indies. So, but that's a good lead in, Primo, because let me take a good swig of this Diet Coke here.
She was on the podcast almost 2 years ago. No, almost 3 years ago, December 23rd, 2021.
Wow. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That was,
we started it in February in high school when she was on this pod.
Yeah, because I was talking to Mouse a few times at some shows that she was out, who was her father, and I've seen her all over Anarchy and, just all over, so yeah, guys, 3 years ago seems like crazy, man.
That's
a long time
insane.
ago, right? Yeah, it's insane. But congrats to her, man. She's getting it done. So, but anyway, again, back to what I was going to talk about, man. Good segue to the Indies. So, Primo, did you see this thing come out, man, that they said it's going to be called WWE ID?
ID, yeah.
Right. All right. Now, I want to talk about this, man, because a lot of people have asked me about my thoughts on this stuff. I actually had a good little conversation about this with Connor Hopkins last weekend when I saw him at Iron Spirit Pro a few weeks ago, when they just kind of, started talking about this. So, at first, when I heard this, so what it is, to explain it to people, people want to know. So I was like, all right, well, listen to the podcast. Let me think about it. Let me talk about it. Let me do a little research, and then, I'll talk about it on the podcast. So, basically what it is WWE is going to ID, in quotation marks, independent wrestlers that have not been signed by any companies or that are under any contracts by, say, AEW, TNA, that kind of stuff. And they can brand that person, or, as women, men, whoever, as a branded, scouted talent for their company. Right. So that's the definition of it. So basically we look at this and we say, okay, so WWE is going to, they're going to cherry pick, some of the people that they think that they, want to, possibly be stars of theirs in the future. So in order to get, to these wrestlers and these talents, they kind of gave certain schools and training academies across the nation. Well, it sounds like it's going to be across the world too. This kind of certification to these schools that they are WWE ID affiliated with WWE, right? So, like if Black and Brave is one of them, out of Iowa, Texas already has Booker T's school, Cody Rhodes' school out of Atlanta is going to be one of them, I'm sure. So it's going to be, a lot of the bigger academy and training schools and popular ones, I guess, right? I think Rikishi's school has been named as one of them.
Yeah, so they got ROW,
okay,
like you mentioned. They got Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center. It's up in the Northeast. They have the Nightmare Factory, of course. Mm-hmm. Knox Pro, which is ran by Rikishi. And then Black and Brave.
Okay. Right. So,
which is a lot of cool schools there, but
right. A lot of cool schools there. Okay. Okay. So, everybody kind of like wants my opinion, and I still can't derive one way or the other. It's still early, right? Because I still think this can be good and bad. Okay. So let's talk about pros and cons. Okay.
Yeah. I got some pros and cons. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So part of me in the beginning is like, man, motherfuckers, y'all trying to dabble in my independent wrestling now. Like, got to have your hands in a little bit of everything. Right. That was my first initial, thought on it. And then after that, I was kind of thinking about it a little more, and from a talent standpoint, like, fuck yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like if I'm up and coming, wrestler, and, I'm trying to make it, and WWE has put like that tag on me, you know what I mean? Is looking at me and puts that tag on me like, oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm going to be all about it, but I feel like it puts, it kind of tears out independent wrestling in a way that it shouldn't be. Like everybody should be on the independents. I mean, but in the same like I said, it doesn't put like the people that get ID'd like higher than everybody else on the independents, because there's a lot of people on the independents that are already signed with ROH, or already signed with AEW. They can still do the independents. So it's sort of like that, you know what I mean? But this is kind of WWE's sort of, way of them kind of be involved in the indies, kind of like AEW is, and you know what I mean? And, Mike Bennett gets to do Dreamwave sometimes. That's, you know what I mean? Like, so this to me, like I said, it can be good and bad. I'm wondering, I'm wondering, like, so they've already started tagging people, so, my thought is I'm okay with everything being like it is, as long as this doesn't ever affect any kind of booking. I can't go over, or I can't put this guy or girl over because I just got ID'd or I got scouted. I hope it doesn't blow up any egos.
So I was looking at that from both sides, from talent and promoter. I was thinking of, like, if you're the talent, are you limited to what you can do? Number one, are you limited if you're being tagged by WWE? I know, well, as you know, you're on the ground there with all of the independent shows. A lot of these guys that are on the indies, they really enjoy their freedom, their creative freedom, their individuality. They're handling their own stuff, their own merch, their own brand, their own style, everything.
Right.
Is WWE going to get their fingers in that and make them not be able to do certain things, and this or that? And on top of that, I could see it helping. Number one,
nobody's turning it down.
It's good. It's good for the talent because it's a streamline.
Yeah.
And it could be good for a promoter, because you know how some promotions say, for instance, if they have WWE former WWE Gangrel on the card, they can have have WWE ID'd, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it puts a little attraction for the promoter to have them on there, But in the same sense, let's spin it this way: does a worker not work as hard because they've been ID'd, or not work as hard, or maybe might be a little more cautious about what they do, and because
right.
Because they've been ID'd, and like, was this, we don't know yet what this ID means for longevity.
I was gonna say, what's the process,
Right. Yeah. We don't know what it is yet. It's like, is it going to be like a minor league system? Is it like, hey, I'm a AAA, ID, that means I'm getting ready to get called up here, or I'm getting ready to haul off to whatever performance center they have at the time, or is it like, or is it like you're a low ball prospect? They have a bunch of low ball prospects, or is everybody on the same grade? You know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of questions about that, and is there money involved? We gotta ask that question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because if this is like, if you're IDing them, if you're saying, now a lot of these guys that are trying to come up, they'll do a lot of things that'll help with them with their exposure.
Right.
But at the same time, if it's a big company like the WWE, you would expect a little scratchback from that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Right. And like, let's say like Booker's found somebody, that he's already recommended be ID'd. They get ID'd.
Right.
And then they go on to be The Rock or Stone Cold or something, like,
right. Yeah.
Do they get kickbacks on that? Like it's all very vague and gray at the moment. And there may be rules already on it that I haven't read or picked up on yet. So that, this is just, kind of like my, synopsis of it, like, man, I think it's great. Nobody's turning it down. You know what I mean? And they shouldn't ever, you know what I mean? And I think it's awesome, but then we're going to compare a lot. Be like, man, why the fuck is this guy or girl not getting ID'd? Or why the fuck is this person getting? You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of questions on both ends. So it's
like, hey, man, how'd you get noticed?
Right? Yeah, but I guess it's the same as if a person gets signed by Ring of Honor.
So does that mean that? I mean, they already had talent relations, but now do they? Well, that's another thing too. Actually, kind of wrapping this into something I was thinking about earlier, and I was actually talking about this in the office to some of the guys a couple days ago. I was like, you guys realize that WWE has been doing these college tours, going to these campuses, looking for these D1 athletes. You know what I mean? So they do have scouts.
Right.
So that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So they've got to have scouts for the Indies as well.
Yeah. So this gives them scouts from the Indies, and so and it's great for the promotions too. I mean, absolutely. Like, why would you not want to be affiliated? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'm still on the fence about it. You know what I mean? I still think it's a great opportunity. I still don't know if I'm 100% sure if I like WWE having a part of the Indies like that, but I mean, you made a good point. It's like, I mean, we advertise, hey, Ring of Honor, such and such. Billy Starks is going to be on, our show, or that kind of stuff. So I guess
it could be a draw.
Yeah, I guess it comes, right about the same. But a part of me is like, super awesome. Like the only way I'm happy about this whole situation is if they're already getting paid. You know what I mean?
So, and looking at the 12 independent wrestlers that they already have listed on their website, they are all over the country.
Right.
So it's not just in one area.
Right. Right. And I'm, and like, I'm super happy for the ones that have got it, I've, so far, it's been super cool to see them, get some of those, and, and they'll roll more of those out, I guess as it gets less convoluted, you know what I mean?
Does this put more pressure on these guys?
I mean, I feel it's got to, but you know what I mean? Like, in the same sense too, I guess they could take it as, all right, I'm WWE ID'd now, so I gotta bust ass. I gotta fucking show.
Right.
I gotta
show
off. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Getting that next gear.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it could work both ways.
Because I guess the next goal is to be able to get into the Performance Center, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then so the rumor is they might be moving that to Vegas. So
yeah.
To put everything all centralized right there. So I'm sure there's a lot of the, things, going to change and all that. But, I'm just, super happy for, for the idea, all that stuff. But, they got to be paying these people for it all to work. It can't be like a promise, you know what I mean? And then, I hate this too. Like, let's talk about this Primo. Like, wait till somebody fucks up, and then they got to take it from them. Like you know what I mean? Because, they were driving a car and somebody tried to rob a bank, or they, they got caught with, some AK-47s on them or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then they got to take it from them. It's like, oh, they lost it. You know what I mean? So it's like double-edged sword, double-edged knife, whatever you call it. You know what I mean? Like, is that kind of like what it feels like, kind of where it's at right now?
Like, that's what I was getting at with the pressure, man. It's like, you can't fuck up. Right. At the same time, you better be on your shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And now when you go to a show, you're representing WWE.
Sure. Yeah, you represent WWE, and if you are getting paid for them, you know what I mean? Does as an independent worker, you're still going to get paid there? Does your rate go up because you got this tag on you? Like,
it should. I mean, it should, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just seems like something I wish they would have stayed out of. But I mean, I'm not going to jump to conclusions and shit on it right off the bat. Other than, damn it, like they've, here comes feds into the Indies now, and so just grasping. But in the same sense, man, like, there's a lot of people that would get that tag today, man, and it would warm my heart. You know what I mean? So that's, you know what I mean? Because I know how many people are grinding and just, and just want it. You know what I mean? So that part would make me super happy. So, but it's probably enough on that, man. So let's move on, man. I haven't watched NXT, brother, but let me tell you, I turned on the TV the other day to watch NXT, and I seen Bubba Ray on there.
Oh yeah.
And I promptly just kept moving on. I was like, I was trying to give it a chance. I'm like, I know they're like doing some sort of angle with him and Trick Williams, but I'm just like, man, we just did this with TNA a while back.
Trick Williams' secret part. Well, they were at the UFC arena, or the ECW arena.
Yeah, the 2300 arena. Yeah, that's kind of like why I went over there, and I was, I was like, whatever. So. But I just kind of thought it was funny because we used to get a little laugh about, Bubba Ray
showing up everywhere.
Yeah, like there he is again.
Why are you hanging out with the champion on this show?
Yeah.
Rhino comes back.
Right. Yeah. Sandman. Let's just do them all. Let's do them all. What'd you think about Private Party winning the tag team titles from the Bucks? But they didn't. Didn't they just do it on like a Dynamite or something like that? So,
it wasn't like a big old shindig. It was just a regular night.
Yeah, right. So, but
it was cool for them.
Yeah, see, I usually go back and watch AEW when I've been doing it lately. Is going back and watch it like the next morning after get kids to school. But that fucking tag match was, man, it was pretty awesome, man. I have to say, like. It was a pretty sick match. So I was glad to see them finally, I guess, putting somebody else over and giving the tag titles to somebody else. So Samantha Irvin, man, I feel like we got to the point where everybody was making such a big deal out of her, and she's the best ever. And trust me, yeah, she's absolutely amazing, awesome. And then now all of a sudden she just kind of leaves out of nowhere. Apparently she's wanting to go after like a singing career or something like that, and
she was on one of those talent shows before WWE.
Oh, I
think it was America's Got Talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know, but I mean, it didn't surprise me. She was a good announcer, so I figured she'd probably be a good singer. But I think she sung. Did she sing one of the America Beautiful or something one time? Maybe on one of the shows.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You might be right.
So
now they got Lillian back doing it.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool, man, to hear her voice again. I'm still Joe Tessitore. Like I'm still trying to get adjusted to him, man. And I keep reading stuff that maybe Wade Barrett's coming back as to wrestle again.
I'll tell you what. Joe Tessitore screws me up, man. Not because he's bad; he's actually really good.
Right, he is good.
But I watch him on Monday, and sometimes I don't watch Raw on Monday. Sometimes I watch it throughout the week or something.
Yeah.
And then I watch college football, and then I see him on Saturdays. I'll be like, "Whoa, what the?"
Mm-hmm. Dude, Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights. I'm an old guy, right? So I've been around a little while. I used to watch boxing on ESPN. And his voice was kind of synonymous. Him and Teddy Atlas, like they were just synonymous of. So every time I hear him, I'm thinking like, Arturo Gatti and Sugar Ray, and fights like that are going to be on. Like listening to him.
You think of this fight tomorrow?
Yes, man. I'm like everybody else. I'd love to see Tyson do it. I'm gonna just say this. I'd love to see Tyson do it. We're going to know within probably the first round and a half, 2 rounds, if Tyson's really in it to try to whip his ass, or if he's just in it to get the payday, and Paul is as well. Like if they try to go to decision, man, and just pitter patter on each other, it's going to look like a money grab. But I'd love to see Tyson stretch his ass out. That'd be funny. But one for the old guys, man. But I don't know. So WWE started doing some releases again. They got a couple couple names, most notable being Tegan Knox, Indy Hartwell, which she's got to hit the independents. I mean, with that name, and then I was a little surprised they finally let Baron Corbin go.
I was surprised with that. He seemed like kind of like a journeyman for them, and
I felt like
he seemed to always. No matter what gimmick they gave him, he did his best, and I'm surprised they let him go.
Yeah, man, he was like, not to sound like, he was a great hand, man. Like he did, he got people over, he helped, do a lot of different things, and he made it through a shit ton of cuts, man. And he cut his hair, and I've always loved his finisher. I always fucking thought that finisher was just fucking sweet, man.
That finisher, and it was protected for a long time,
right? Yeah, and so not surprised by Tegan Knox. She was kind of a little ridiculed with injuries and stuff, and felt like they kind of really didn't know what to do with her at times. But yeah, I was a little surprised by a Baron. I could see kind of like Braun Strowman, where they'll cut him and then bring him back for something when they got another idea for him or something like that.
I can also see him doing real good on the indies, though.
Oh yeah. I'd love to see him on a Dreamwave or something, man.
Rebranding himself,
Yeah,
kicking ass, become unstoppable, and then bring him back.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, I would too.
Or he could just be a TikTok chef. I watch him cook all the time.
Right. Yep. He does. He cooks like on the Traeger grill stuff a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he cooks a lot of meat.
All right. So, yep. And then, man, then we got the note that, they were going to have another Goldberg match again. Why? I don't know. I guess he just wants that. It's for him, so whatever. So, they announced it in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. So they'll probably do it there. I imagine it's probably the best place because he's over there.
Them Saudis like Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, dude. They do.
Oh, we thought we liked Goldberg in America. Jesus Christ. They like him over there.
But that'd be my best guess to go back over there. So, I mean, he has to beat somebody, right? I mean, we'll figure it out here pretty soon. Why not let him wrestle Baron Corbin? You know what I mean? In Saudi Arabia, right? There you go. You know what I mean? It'd be awesome.
The barrier and got in Gunther's face. We're just come on, I don't even want that.
Yeah, no, that can't be it, man. That can't be it.
Because if we're building Gunther to be this tough guy, then we can't have Goldberg come and squash him.
I know. All right, Primo, one more thing, man, before we get to Crown Jewel results here, man. So, we've talked about going to the Royal Rumble. You're not going to be able to go because of some stuff. So we tried to get tickets yesterday. I tried to get tickets. I was on, like I always am, early. I was really early in line in the QA. I'm waiting for I got my pre-sale code. I was waiting, and then the time hit. Everything come up just right. I go to put in the code, and it was 6 letters long, and it would only let me put in 3, and it really started bogging down the system, you know what I mean, really quick. And then finally it just kicked me off that screen and then just showed me tickets, right? And I'm like, all right, well, maybe it worked, and then there was the tickets they were showing me were $550. There was some ridiculous ones. I think the very cheapest was probably $200 last couple rows. And I think Tori, a friend of the podcast, was she went and looked after I told him I was having problems, and it kept kicking me out, and then I'd get back in, and it was just a mess, man. It seemed very weird, like some bots might have had something to do with this, because she said she went to click on some tickets and then they'd be gone, which that happened to me too. I was after a little while, I was just trying to find some, so I just found the cheapest that was available, and you go to click on them, and then it was oh, they're gone all of a sudden, So, but I mean, there was probably a fucking shit ton of people on too, just like me, trying to get on. So thousands and thousands, I'm sure. So I don't know, I'm gonna give it another rip, but we talked about
why
pre-pod Cena.
Yeah, they're building it for Cena's last Royal Rumble. So
yeah. Who's your pick right now to win the Royal Rumble? I'll tell you who I want to win it. CM Punk with a briefcase would be so fun. It would. I just think it would.
A briefcase, yeah, but Royal Rumble win.
Yeah, that's what I mean, or win it and or just have a shot at the title after that. He'd be able to choose.
Sammy.
Yeah. I mean, golly, he's sneaky so over right now. Maybe as much as Jay, dude. I feel like he's taking Jay's spot. Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, so I'm gonna try to get rolled Rumble tickets again tomorrow. Hopefully, if not, I think about 200 is the most. When we went in St. Louis year before last, was that when it was?
Yeah, it was like 90 a piece.
Yeah, we didn't, what I mean? So, I mean, inflation, I guess, goes up just like everything else. Fucking A, dude. Like, God
That's
damn.
ridiculous.
I know, it really is. I mean, it's price is too high. You know what? Like, I was kind of prepared for it because I'd seen what people have been saying about Mania tickets and stuff. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm sure it's going to be more than
Dude,
what we
I bet
paid
it's going to be
ago.
wild, though. Lucas Oil Stadium.
Man, I know it's going to be. I know.
I don't even know what the capacity is there.
It's gonna make me a little sad if we don't get tickets to go. But but in the same sense too, like I ain't paying a couple $100. Like
it holds 70,000.
Yeah. So probably hold more than that with just a wrestling ring in the middle, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's football numbers. So
yeah, because I think when I went to Mania that time at Jerry World in Dallas, it was like 105.
Okay.
At the time, I don't know if that's.
So you can fit a few more thousand.
Yeah. I could tell like there's a lot of people in here, like a lot of people in here.
You got a freaking town of people in there.
Yeah. All right, Primo, let's get to Crown Jewel, but first, let's hear from our buddy Sam Beal.
This is the crock rockin', Nickelback poppin', curls for all the girls, the Perminator, Sam Beal. And I am on the Sit Down Marks podcast, and we're going to get some perfection today, baby.
Can't wait to run into him again at one of the shows, man. Like eventually I got to cross paths.
The girls.
Yeah. All right, so Crown Jewel, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This was back on November the 2nd, 2024. As me and Primo was talked about these crazy ridiculous belts that they had that why didn't the winners get those? They just get to stay there and just symbolize they get these rings instead, like I don't know, it kind of didn't make no sense, but
they're Super Bowl rings, man. That's what Triple H said.
They were.
It's like now whenever you go to Crown Jewel, so if Cody wins again, he's got 2 rings.
So you're going I see. Put a little extra oomph on it to go and get wins,
but I still think it's stupid.
Right. And Seth Rollins will have 3, and Cody will have 3, and then let's wrestle to see who get the most rings.
I just think they wanted Saudi wanted something, meaningful, and they came up with something. I just to me it doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. You're right. I can tell you this though. I felt like either Michael Cole was either jet lagged or he was not happy about being there, because I felt like a lot of this show, especially when they opened up the show, coming in, he sounded the most unenthusiastic I ever heard him talk before, man.
He does all the pressers and everything else.
Yeah, he's tired, dude.
Dude's probably wore out.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it, man. So they led off with Bloodline versus Bloodline match.
I call it Bloodline versus Mid-Carders.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. They're trying to make up a family feud, like a blow up between families.
You could never convince me that this new Bloodline could ever beat the original Bloodline. You got one of the greatest tag teams ever in WWE, and Roman Reigns, who's the greatest champion in the past however long.
Right. Yeah, so a little shocker in this one, man, but just kind of lead off. Roman definitely over in Saudi. The fans were going crazy for him, chanting OTC. Jay came out through the crowd, so instantly hyped him up. I was a little surprised. I didn't think he would do that in Saudi, but it's pretty sweet. But antics as they would. So we get to the pin though, right? So the pin lines up like this. We get a ref bump. Right, and that leads to Roman cleaning the house. Then we get 3 straight Samoan spikes from Solo on Roman for the 1, 2, 3 clean pin.
Clean,
right. And they're like, he took 3 Samoan spikes, all right. So, crowd's shocked as fuck. They're like, man.
Yeah, we'll get the payoff later, I guess.
Yeah. What was funny though is they almost botched it earlier. They kind of did botch it, man. Jimmy was supposed to jump in and do a breakup of the pin, and he kind of missed it. And like the referee, like kind of stopped it. They like went all the way to the to the mat, and then like went off to the side, and Jimmy was late on that one. But so then after this, the new bloodline is basically destroying the old bloodline. After the match, Sami Zayn makes the save, and then boots Roman in the face after they save Solo. After they have Solo cornered, and then he moves out of the way and hits Roman instead. So after the match, they're all talking to each other. They're all conflicted about what happened, and Sami helping them out, but or did he come there to just kind of screw everything up again? So I'm looking at it going, all right, this is how they're setting up Survivor Series. All right, well, Sami, gonna give you one more time. You can be on our side against them. Yada yada. But I wasn't too like. I mean, I seen they had somewhere they had to go. I felt like, and it kind of made all sense to bring Sami back into the fold. But story wise, it's with Sami now. Like I'm liking it. I'm a little more interested. I want to see how it unfolds, But like you said, the new bloodline, like, yeah, it's just not working. They need to get past that. Like, it's kind of killing the storyline, I think. But what do you think about this, especially for the opener?
So I was surprised it was the opener. But this, like I mentioned offline, this was the one match on the card I actually wanted to see, just because I wanted to see Roman and the Usos being on the same page for the first time in a while. So overall, it was cool. The match was cool. It was cool seeing the Usos back doing their thing.
Yeah.
Jimmy
still can't act.
I was surprised with the rest of everybody else when Roman got pinned clean.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing the four corners with Sami there. You get that feeling like, oh shit, this is OG Bloodline.
Yep, here we go.
This is Bloodline from 2 years ago when we were hyped. That's all we were talking about,
Right.
And then what ensued is what happened. But I mean, it was cool. It what all this does for me, and moving forward, now that we know now what's going to happen, or like as far as the match at Survivor Series, so that's cool. It'll lead up to the big payoff will be later.
Yep. Second match was a women's 4-way tag team championship match. Bianca and Jade, the champs, putting them on the line versus Io and Kyrie, Chelsea and Piper, and the Meta Girls from NXT, which is Jackson and Lash Legend. So, a pretty good match, man. It was okay. The champs retained by a Doomsday device on Piper. I was like, well, fuck, that's awesome.
They're strong girls, man.
Yeah, dude. Like some Road Warrior shit. And like, fuck yeah. So, and still, Bianca and Jade. Third match on the card was
Chelsea Green's funny, by the way.
She's man. No, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Yeah. She makes me pay attention to a lot of those matches.
Right.
Her funny selling is top notch, dude. It's up there, dude. Like they should never let her go, man. Yeah. Yeah, her comedy is on another level.
I really like that.
Yeah, and she's great at selling, like when somebody slaps her or something, you know what I mean, or like looking appalled about shit, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
her facial expressions, yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because she really. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching her, man. Like, she's so good. I love her seeing like this, and like maybe eventually a serious turn for a title run or something. But next up was Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. This was the first of, I think they've mixed it up pretty good bit since then. The first match between the two, tough battle. This is probably Bronson's best match that I've seen probably yet. Seth can bring that out of you, I guess.
Right.
of course, though, Seth guts out the win by getting 3 different curb stomps. I guess that was the number for tonight. 3 spikes, 3 curb stomps.
3 curb stomps,
yeah. And but good stuff. Yeah, this definitely elevated Bronson. I don't want to see this feud go on forever. Like elevate Bronson, and like he ain't beating Seth in a feud.
I like that I've actually kind of enjoyed this feud. I agree. I don't want it to go on forever. I'm cool with it right now still. Because knowing it went on after Crown Jewel still, but I like the match also, and like I agree with you. Seth make anybody look like $1 million. So
right.
Yeah, I like that. Number one, Seth can't always be in the title picture as much as I want him to be. So this is cool. He's giving him something to do, as well as giving Bronson Reed that monster path storyline, and it's cool. I kind of dig this storyline still, because it's just like a good old they don't like each other and they want to beat the shit out of each other type thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and nothing too, man. Like SmackDown and Raw last few weeks, people have been trying to recruit Seth to be on their team, and he's starting to put Roman in his mouth. You notice this? Yes,
I did.
I'm like, are we finally going to circle back? And I thought about you too, because we've seen that the Rumble, dude, right?
It's unfinished business.
Yes. Yeah, you always say that.
He did not lose.
Nope. No. That opened up the Rumble too, didn't it?
It did,
to the crowd.
He came out the Shield. Oh, it was so cool.
Oh, that was a goosebump moment, man. That was awesome. Yeah, so that interests me too. Like, about him, speaking on Roman. So it usually is a little Easter egg for on down the road. Usually. Next match was the first Crown Jewel Championship. This one for the women, Liv versus Nia, the 2 champions. Liv gets the win after a pin on Nia. Of course, there was Raquel and Dom at ringside to distract. A few attempted Tiffy time cash-ins, but I wasn't like super all right with this match. It was okay what it was, but
I mean, we were just wondering how Liv was going to pull it off, and this is how she pulled it off.
Yeah. Next match was I was looking forward to this one though. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. I love Kevin Owens wearing Cowboy Bob Orton shirt, which is Randy's dad, in case nobody knew that.
This ended up being a non-match.
Yeah. So hot start, but the bell never rang, man. The match never happens. They just basically beat the shit out of each other. Finally, Michael Cole kind of seemed a little enthused during this match, like he's coming out of his slump a little bit. So I guess we're going to get some sort of, this might be a one-on-one, I guess, for Survivor Series. I'm assuming
got to do something with him. Yeah. Adam Pearce got RKO'd.
Right, he did. And there's small little tidbits of showing Randy getting pissed off a little here and there, right? And so I think that's working towards going to be some good shit on down the road. So that was kind of stalwart. Nothing happened there, so it's kind of like, all right, whatever. But next match was for the U.S. title. This is right for the main. Carmelo Hayes, Andrade versus the champ, LA Knight. Big pop for LA, man. They really liked him there. I think LA too. LA's got a good song. When you're at the show and it's like LA Knight, and this is a hit, somebody's like, right. So I think, man, that people, not taking anything from LA. He's great too, but this is pretty good for a triple threat, man. I always think, okay, triple threat, what are they going to do that I ain't seen before? You know what I mean? Two are going to fight. One's going to lay on the ground for a little bit, and then the other next 2 are going to fight. You know what I mean? But they did a good job of kind of mixing all this up and putting together spots.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a big Andrade fan, so I'm hoping that like this, helps to elevate him. He did get the win, but some solid matches. It always seems like he turns it up a little bit on the pay-per-views.
I've enjoyed his rivalry with Carmelo.
Yeah, me too.
Their string of matches. Also in this match, they did do a lot of triple threat-ish type things. They kept doing a lot of double pins.
Yeah.
Dude, LA Knight did this one move where he was on the second rope to turn in the corner, and he was facing him, and he like jumped up onto the top rope and then did like a double clothesline.
Yeah.
So like he like blind jumped up onto the top turnbuckle and then did a double. I was like, dude, if you would have missed, that would have been bad.
Right. Yeah. Probably priced it a lot, I'm sure. But yeah, solid match. LA wins by blunt force trauma on Carmelo. But yeah, to go back to that Carmelo Andrade series, I think that helped both of those guys. You know, giving them both of them something to do. So, and then we get to the main event, which was Cody Rhodes versus Gonta for the men's Crown Jewel Championship, which is really just the Super Bowl ring. But I mean, a good battle, man. You know, back and forth. It was what I thought it was, and you know, and a little more. Like, I really didn't know how they would go here, but but the finish as Cody goes for a super cutter, gets caught in the sleeper, right? When he comes back down to Gunther, and then they do that little pin that you see come up ever so often where it looks like Gunther falls on with Cody on top of him, and it looks like Cody's momentum, you know, rolls him backwards, and he pins him like kind of like from reverse with Gunther's shoulders, you know. So a lot of times, like,
so let go, yeah.
So a lot of times they'll do something like that where it's like both shoulders were down or something, you know what I mean? This is kind of like one of those
that Shawn Michaels Triple H match.
Yes, that's the inspiration for that right there. Yeah, but yeah, it was decent. It was good. Definitely had my attention. You know, this was a good way, I guess, to kind of keep Gunther up as still the champ, because it kind of looked like a sneaky pin, like Cody got one over on him, kind of, you know, like it was a little surprise pin, almost, kind of.
Were you surprised that Cody won?
I was. I mean, I was just thinking, fucking, this is going to be like a DQ. You know what I mean? And then they start the match. This is what I was thinking. Yeah, they would start the match back up, and then Kaiser Ludwig would get involved somehow, and then he would be the reason why Gunther lost, because they've been showing a little tiff, you know, between them, you know what I mean, like a little bit here and there, you know what I mean. So that's what I thought would happen, but you know, I mean, I guess the way they did it still, you know, didn't hurt, you know, either way. So let's Smelly Market, man. I'm gonna sit at probably like, I'm not super impressed with this. I'm gonna sit at like a 6, probably, most likely. Like, it was daytime wrestling, so I'm always in for that. You know, as long as I ain't, you know, doing too much, I can put it on one of the TVs with football, but I'm always down for that. So where'd you put it?
Yeah, I think I got about 3 or 4 matches on the card that I liked. And yeah, I gotta agree. I'd say, yeah, I'll give it a 6 too. I like I said before, like even building up to this, because I thought the concept was stupid.
Yeah.
The matches themselves were fine, especially Cody Gunther. I mean, on paper, that, you know, 10 times out of 10, that's a cool match.
Sure.
But the concept behind the Crown Jewel Championship, because you're gonna have both of our champions fight and all this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. What, you know, I don't care. And especially, I guess they had to have one of them end clean, since the other championship match was all smodgy fest. But
yeah,
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, it's probably pretty safe. So, yeah, I'm just thinking probably like next time they go back there, it'll be Goldberg. Somebody, he's gonna make like 10 million, and they'll give him some sort of belt like that. You know, he's gonna go over probably. So, I mean, if it's a way to officially get him to go, then that's, I guess,
supposed to do your job on the way out.
Yeah. I don't know if I see that or not, but all right, Primo, let's talk about a couple of local notes. But before we do, man, how about a word from Thomas Bryson, Sports Wire Radio?
Looking for all the latest happenings in the world of sports and wrestling? Well, you're in luck because SportsWire Radio has you covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. With great shows in the world of sports, such as the Pinstripe Chronicles, hosted by Uncle Tats, Donald Stewart, and Rob Barrows. New York Baseball Talk with Chris Bazaya and Rob Maraska. The Liftoff Jets, also hosted by Chris Bazaya and Sharman Phillip. Neil Villapiano and the Devil's State of Mind. Randy Dillon's Hockey Fan Chat. In the world of wrestling, SportsWire Radio has you covered with Squared Circle Radio, featuring Chris Belcher, Andy York, and Jared Justice. Those sit-down marks with DB, Primo, AJ, and Michael. A work in progress, featuring the Mayor of Canton, Piles, and Glenn Abbott. You can catch all of these great shows and more anytime, anywhere, and any place via the Listen Live button on SportsWireRadio.org, and you can also catch SportsWire Radio anytime on YouTube at SportsWire Radio 6579 to catch all the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. SportsWire Radio has you covered. It's all sports matters and all wrestling matters here on SportsWire Radio. I am your host, the owner of SportsWire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce.
Thank you, Reverend. Appreciate it. All right. Well, Primo, let's talk about a few notes and local shows here, man. Before we go home, I want to talk about what's going on this weekend first, man. If you're watching right now live on YouTube and Facebook, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you're looking at a Zawa Live Zawa Fest poster for a show coming up this Saturday, November 16th at Parties on Pope in Nelson, Illinois, presented by your boys here at Sit Down Marks. It's featuring a tag team steel cage match to start off the card for the Zawa tag team titles, and then also a 30-minute Iron Man match for the Zawa championship match for the Zawa championship. The champion Jay Fowler taking on the challenger Christian Rose, who's a friend of the podcast, been on a few times. Shout out to Christian too, man. He's been wearing our shirt a lot on social media and posting.
Very cool.
So we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, brother. So we're going to be out there this Saturday, man. We're giving away to the first 100 attendees to the show through the door a free gift bag courtesy of the Sit Down Marks. Now, if you're listening right now, I'm going to tell you what's in that bag. You're going to get a Sit Down Marks mouse pad for your computer. You're going to get a lovely Sit Down Marks magnet for your beautiful refrigerator. You're going to get about 3 Sit Down Marks stickers that's going to go wherever you want to put them, anywhere, just anywhere that other people can see them. It was where we prefer. And then also you're going to get a little piece of paper in there. It's going to show you where you can follow us and catch us on all of our links and everything. So if you're listening to the pod, you're going to get a little insight of what's in the bag, if you know what I'm saying. So make sure you show up this Saturday night. It's a huge show for Zawa Fest 5. Got a lot going on. Post-show, they're doing karaoke and a comedy show afterwards. So if you want to stay and check that out afterwards. So there's a lot going on, plenty to do there. And this is a big show, man. A lot going on here with Zawa, and we're very happy to be a part of it. So come on out, man. Come on and see me. Check me out, get some free stuff, take some selfies. I'm going to have the big sit-down Marks. I don't even know what the fuck we even call that thing. The tapestry.
The banner.
The banner. Yeah, that thing's huge, man. But I turned it into a selfie station now at these shows, so
yes.
So, people come up and, so you can come up, get a little selfie with the Sit Down Marks logo in the background and post it on all your social medias and tag us and all that good stuff. So,
and we don't care if your fridge is ugly, you can still get a magnet.
You can, man. Yeah. But you make it prettier, you put one of our stickers on it.
That's right.
That's how it works. That's how it works. But just extra incentive to come out. Zawa's been good to us, man. We're looking at almost 4 years of this podcast coming up, and
wow.
And in February or March, and so and Zawa was one of the first promotions to give me a shot. Just reaching out to them, and started coming to their shows and got to meet everybody, and now everybody's it's been that long now. I've seen everybody so much. Everybody's like family. It's like a reunion when we see these people again, and So it's awesome. So look forward to that show Saturday, man. Go check them out, man. It's going to be an awesome show. And I want to plug too, man. The last podcast right before this one, episode number 138, I sat down with Bayou Bill, who is probably one of the most beloved wrestlers at Zawa. And I mean, he's a big deal there, and he is in a 4-way match for the Fireweight title coming up this Saturday. And also Matt Hatter, also a former guest of the podcast, is in that match too. So go check that out, man. We talk a lot about his career, tagging with Matt, and also we talk about the card coming up this Saturday. But also after that, Dreamwave, man, one of the biggest shows of the year. Personally, my favorite show of the year because it's good as gold time. You probably might be wondering, if you're not familiar why you wonder good as gold is. It's Dreamwave Royal Rumble, baby. It's 30 men on Saturday night, 30 women on Friday night, 2 different good as gold rumbles. Whoever wins the rumble gets the briefcase for a shot at the championship of their choosing. So, but look forward to that one, man. Obviously, the shows always sell out like they always do, but IWTV is the place for it. They started announcing people that's going to be in the Rumbles. So go check that out on IWTV. Coming up on December 6th is Uprising 4, which is the women's division in Dreamwave Wrestling, if you're not familiar. So we got a show. We do 3 women's shows a year. It's all women only. So very cool. Thing that happens in this will be the 4th show coming up on the 6th, and then the Good as Gold Dreamwave Rumble, and I think it's going to be about 5 or 6 matches with that too on Saturday night. So look forward to that. Iron Spirit Pro, December 14th. I'm going to crown. They introduced a brand new belt. Primo is the Iron Spirit Pro Downstate champion.
Downstate.
Yep, downstate Illinois. If you're an Illinoisan, a lot of people refer to everywhere in Illinois as based from Chicago. So everybody's like, oh, if you live south of Chicago, you live downstate. You know what I mean. So that's kind of the lingo around here. So it kind of goes along with that. So going to be crowning the very first ever Iron Spirit Pro downstate champion. So come check that out. Solomon Tupu is going to be there. He's going to be defending the title. So just released the poster not long ago. So if you want to go check that out. And then also too, Primo will be back here in a couple weeks, man. We're going to be talking Survivor Series results. We're going to be talking AEW Full Gear. And a friend of the podcast that used to be that's been a guest before, and then also has attended a Royal Rumble with us, Dylan. We're going to bring him back, man, to talk with us about all the results from both of those shows. And we're going to talk a little bit about his blog that he writes every week on independent wrestling and everything that he's got coming up. And when he's coming up, that's going to be just a couple days before the Dreamwave shows. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And so a lot coming up, man, here to finish out the year. But yeah, Primo, let's talk about it, man. Can you believe it that me and you sat down almost, almost. I mean, we're just a couple months shy of 4 years ago, and we cranked out that first episode. And boy, did it suck!
Yeah,
I mean, suck too, but we're fucking better now. But
our audio was nowhere near where it's at. Our production was rough. But you know what? We went out there and we did it. And we said that first episode, we talked beforehand. I'll say this every time we talk about it. We sat down and me and you were like, man, I hope we can crank out at least 45 minutes here. We sat there for 2 damn hours.
We did. Just kept going. We were talking our little wrestling heads off, man. But yeah, man. So look forward to that anniversary coming up in March. So, yeah, man. So a lot of things going on. Christmas right around the corner. We got Thanksgiving coming up first. I know you're a big Thanksgiving guy.
Absolutely.
So we like
Go
Thanksgiving
find turkey
here.
sales.
Yeah, we like Thanksgiving here, but the kids got antsy, man. The trees are already up in the house. We already got presents under the trees that's wrapped. I mean,
wow.
but historically though, we do start early as a family normally. We usually try to get done early.
Ahead of the game.
Yeah, because me and the wife, we buy each other little somethings, some things, but we don't go all out like we do, but yeah. So the end of the year is approaching, and it's getting late early, as they say.
Dude, it can't. It's you got here quick.
Yep, it did. So. All right. Well, we'll see you guys here in just a couple weeks. Like I said, definitely myself, Primo, and Dylan, maybe the Harris brothers, bitches. Harris brothers will return. Maybe they won't. Maybe we can rope them back in for some podcast here sometime soon. But check us out too. I'm going to be announcing my next guest too on that pod. And be sitting down with a local independent wrestler, but he wasn't always local. So we'll talk about that later on. But Primo, good to see you, brother. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Let's getting good to talk a little wrestling with you, man. So hope all is well. Good to see you, and guess we'll wrap this thing on up since there's no Harris brothers to shit on anymore. So
I'll say that. Oh, speaking of shit, let's talk about it. There, he is the shit man, by the way. And any opinions that Mago has about CM Punk, I don't want to hear it. All right.
Yeah, we got to settle this about
that. And Texas is winning the national championship.
Well, you might be right. It's looking good. All right. Well, for Primo, I am DB. Thank you guys all for tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you for listening on Audible, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those platforms out there. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. For Primo, I am DB. We are Top Guys, and we are out. I'm gonna go like old school. I'm gonna go like roll AJ's yard. I'm gonna put toilet paper in like the one little Charlie Brown tree he's got in his yard.
Make sure it's gonna rain too, so it gets worse.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna poop in a bag and throw it on his porch.
Oh, light on fire.
Good old Halloween tricks. That's what they're getting from now on.